Plaintiff Sherry Rye dated the defendant, and she admits that they had many heated arguments. Sherry's suing her ex today because she claims he vandalized her car and owes her for a loan. Defendant Dale Britt says Sherry is a compulsive liar and a sex addict. Dale claims when they started dating, Sherry admitted that she was divorced from her second husband, but she hid the fact that she was still married to her third husband. Dale's countersuing Sherry for harassment.
Let's start with you.
Okay, we're here today for the property damage to my black Toyota Corolla, 4 tires being slashed, the tow it took, the 4 repaired tires, and the $1,502.26 that went on my credit card on February 22nd, 2016 for a loan that he lied to my face for the entire time about, saying that it was to go for car repairs, but later came out that the money was for a child that doesn't belong to him for Christmas gifts.
Sir?
I'm here because her allegations are completely false. She's just a crazy sex addict, compulsive liar. She told me in the very beginning of our relationship she was happily divorced from her second husband, which turns out to be true, but she didn't tell me she was still married to her third husband. And after I found that out is when I broke it off with her for the second and final time.
You're part of a harem. All right, and did you borrow money from her?
Yes, sir.
Have you repaid her?
Not the full amount.
So what do you believe you owe?
Nothing.
Okay, if you haven't paid the full amount, why don't you think you owe?
Because she herself has told me that she didn't want the rest of the loan back, that she just wanted the situation to be done with and for us to both go our separate ways. She's just a crazy sex addict, compulsive liar. She told me in the very beginning of our relationship she was happily divorced from her second husband, which turns out to be true, but she didn't tell me she was still married to her third husband.
Plaintiff Sherry Rye is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims when they started dating, Sherry hid the fact that she was still married to her third husband.
Okay, ma'am. Did you forgive the loan?
Given your background.
No, this isn't about me. Don't talk about me. People get in trouble when they talk about me during the middle of a case.
No,
You had a young man in here the other day saying, Judge, I was like you. I sold drugs when I was a thug. Well, I never sold drugs. Right. I was a thug, but that's one thing I didn't do. Yeah. So.
Well, I've been in some relationships, and they have been truly beyond up, like the given 4 months with him.
I know that ain't what you're about to talk about. You don't know nothing about my relationship. That's for sure. Other than I met my wife, she was a freshman in college. I was a junior. We then married 5 years later. And 35 years later, we have 4 children and we're still together. So that's all I can tell you. Now, whether I ever got put out overnight for looking at another woman in our younger days, she misinterpreted that. In our younger days, 20s. All right, so you tell me about your relationships, you were saying.
There have been many heated arguments and fights between him and I, and between me and his witness and his witness's trick of the week that he played between us. And I, one time, may have said, F you all together, F this situation, F the drama and the hell and the pain and the mess you caused me and the stuff that I now have to deal with to get my $1,500 back.
I'm allowing you to go ahead with your cursing and doing all that because you seem like a nut. But, and every time you use that language, knowing you're in the courtroom, you reinforce the fact that you sound like a nut. So go right ahead.
But at no point, Your Honor, would I ever say, forget $1,500.
Okay, sir, do you have any evidence that she did?
Yes, sir.
And property damage, what property did he damage, ma'am?
A black 2013 Toyota Corolla 4-door.
Okay, you say you cut the tires up?
Cut all 4 tires down to the rim.
Sir, did you do that?
No. I've not been over to her house since the last time.
Okay. You have any evidence, or what makes you believe that?
Him and I had a 2-hour conversation on Sunday in May where he was telling me how lucky to no end I am because his witness and his witness's girl and other people didn't know where I lived and didn't know where I worked. And if they did, all that they would do to my car, do to me, do to my house. And
He told you that?
he told me over the phone during that conversation.
Okay.
And then we had an additional 3 phone conversations between him and I over this period. And then we had, from February till now, Facebook messages.
Did you ever go to the police?
Yes, I
Did
did.
they investigate it?
It's still an open investigation.
Okay. Would you read that? You handed me some evidence that is, for me, too difficult to read. Not you, the gentleman here. Well, you can't read it either. You've gotten a couple of years older in 15 years. Don't act like your vision is any better than mine.
Your classic.
Go ahead. You can't read it either. Why you hand me something?
Not perfectly.
That writing is so little, you can't read that. What does it say?
It's Del we're done. Didn't want car title, not paid and headache now. I can be done with fully no regrets, but lost money and wasted time. Money you don't got and can't get. We both take a loss and move on.
Okay. And did you all ever discuss it again, ma'am?
Yes, and that's not the entire Facebook message at all.
Okay. What evidence do you have that you retracted that offer to forgive the debt?
I have my cell phone with me, and you can read the full Facebook message yourself between me and
And it says something that will indicate that you retracted that promise to forgive the debt? Last thing he said is that you said, you don't owe me. Do you have anything that came after that?
before and after that. And it
After is all I need.
Yes.
Where you changed your mind. Do you have evidence of that?
Yes, on my cell phone.
All right. And sir, what is your counterclaim for? What harassment has she committed against you?
The harassment on just multiple Facebook messages,
How many?
text messages.
Approximately.
There's probably at least 100 here. If I had
Over the course of how long?
since March 25th.
How often?
Anywhere between 1 to like 8 a day.
Let's see it. For those number of months? Ma'am, have you found your...
Yes, what he was talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
She told me in the very beginning of our relationship she was happily divorced from her second husband, which turns out to be true, but she didn't tell me she was still married to her third husband. And after I found that out is when I broke it off with her for the second and final time.
You're part of a harem.
Plaintiff Sherry Rye is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims when they started dating, Sherry hid the fact that she was still married to her third husband.
Suit yourself. I'll set a court date and see you before a judge, and I will send your A to jail. I'm going to pay the money I owe you back just like every other time I have. This is you saying you're going to pay her back as of March 25th. What do you have? He's already showing that he agreed to pay the debt. And the reason it's important to find out whether the conversation came up again is because unless it was completed, that was a promise to forgive the debt. And if there was no other discussion, then that promise would be completed. But sometimes people say, well, no, I changed my mind. I want my money. And if someone proves that has been said, that was a promise to forgive the debt. And a person has a right to change their mind up until it's complete. And I, based on the time frame, would determine whether the act was completed, the act of forgiving the debt. Person gets mad on the phone, forget it, don't pay me then. Next day, I want my money. I just thought about it. I want my money. But if 4 months, 6 months goes by, the person never says anything, they need some money all of a sudden. Hey, I know 6 months ago I told you didn't owe me, but I need it now. So you got, no, the forgiveness occurred 6 months earlier. Can't just come back 6 months after everything is cooled down and say I changed my mind about forgiving the debt. So what do you have? Read it.
Okay, his part, after the whole long paragraph goes on, it says, Yes, we are done. I don't believe one thing that comes out of your mouth. I will contact you when I have the rest of your money
All right,
all
judgment for the
together. I
plaintiff.
will talk to you
Judgment for
more.
the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed, sir. I don't see any harassment other than her asking for her money back. You put your hand down. I don't want to hear from you. The case is over. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
That's fine, Sherry, because you're going to see me in court again. You'll see me in court next. Believe that.
And you'll fall flat on your face too. What
Flat
do I
on my
care?
face, really, because I have every message you ever sent me.
So
this
do
is the
I.
first time laying eyes on you.
Look, you're an
and
addict.
You started
I don't
messaging. I'm
wanna
an
deal
addict.
with him.
Please prove me you're an addict. Please. I hold a job.
You
I go
got
to
fired
school.
from VTech because you couldn't pass a drug test, right?
Really? From pot, sweetheart.
That's a drug.
Pot. Ooh.
That's a drug. That's
really?
illegal.
But
You're a
still
pillhead.
full-time
You're a
stu-
pothead.
I'm a pillhead.
You're an
please.
alcoholic.
I don't even take
you
ibuprofen,
smoke cigarettes like
sweetheart.
crazy.
What does cigarettes
Then-
have to do with being an addict, sweetheart? I've never laid eyes on you until this very moment, and you started messaging me and my wife and calling my child ugly, things of that matter. Oh, I thought your daughter would be cute, being as it's Mike's kid. Really? But you call my wife, who I've been with for 5 years, a trick.